Hey, everybody. Hey, welcome back to the 53206 cast. I'm Alex.
And I'm Meg.
And Meg.
Yeah.
This podcast.
Yeah.
Meg, my voice is a little hoarse.
I'm sure it is, yes.
Today was the first day of We Got This.
Yeah.
And I have to use my outside voice.
It was funny when you were in line and you were struggling to have everyone hear you. I thought, oh, he's new. He needs to get back in the habit of this.
Yeah, it seemed like, I don't mean anything negative by this, but it seemed like lots of people were getting back into the habit of doing that kind of work. Meg had a pretty good day in the garden.
Yes, it was. And I feel like for those of you that don't know anything about We Got This Garden, It is the community garden over on 9th and Ring. And I mean, I just feel lucky that we get to be a part of it. But both me and Alex are on the board, and so we do a lot during the week and on Saturdays to help with it. But it is a wonderful opportunity for kids to come and learn how to garden. They each get $20. Student leaders get $40. And yeah, it's just great for the neighborhood. And it, again, started out this week, goes 12 weeks in the summer, and it's great.
Yeah, you were talking before. You always do this. You just start talking about things that you would like to talk about on the podcast. But it's easier if you just say them on the podcast, and we don't have to, repeat them.
Yes.
But you were saying you woke up this morning.
I woke up this morning with two reels were shared to We Got This social media about companion planting, and one was from a 14-year-old boy and one was from a 16-year-old boy, and both of them are student leaders. And I just thought it was so funny that that both of them apparently have companion gardening in their algorithms. So that was funny.
Yeah, I'd say overall pretty solid first garden. First We Got This of the season. Had somewhere between 120 and 130 kids come out, which is a little bit under our capacity, but which I was kind of like right what I was hoping for.
That's good.
You do something like this, and it every teacher out there knows that you set the culture for your classroom on the first day. And so if your first day goes well, which typically it does, because kids are a little nervous and that kind of stuff, but if you set your culture right on the first day, then you aren't having to make these big changes or fix your culture like as you go. Yeah. And so if you can start off strong, then you've got a pretty good chance of finishing strong in the school year. So it was hot out there, surprisingly hot. I mean, I know it's so June, hot, but I feel like I was cold yesterday, so I don't know.
Yeah. It was very hot in the sun too.
Yeah, it was hot.
Yeah.
And so you don't forcing a 12-year-old like into shoveling mulch for 4 hours straight. Like take a break, relax. But a lot of hard work, a lot of good, solid contributions from the kids. Meg, one of the things that I really appreciated is we have made kind of this conscious effort to continue to develop more and more and more student leaders.
Yeah.
I know as a kid has been around for a while. Like, the $20 is nice, but it's also nice to have more responsibility. And I was, in line, everybody lines up as they get ready. First kids told me they were in line at 5:45. Oh
my gosh. Wow.
I saw them at 5:58. So they were there.
And listeners, just so you know, the program starts at 8.
Yeah.
So, but they wanted to be in the mowing group. They
wanted to be first.
Yeah.
Which is great. I mean, it's not like, well, I don't want to say this. I don't mean something negative by this, but it's not like there's not like there's anything else to do if you're 12.
Well, like what did Dex do this morning? He played video games before he went over. So like
he did shower, which was surprising.
That was surprising. Yeah.
But yeah, so first kids were out there pretty early. And yeah, I would just say overall, really, really solid effort by a whole bunch of the kids, which means that we should expect that to continue next week and then in the following, for the next 11 weeks as the program kind of goes along. Meg, what was one of the things that you really enjoyed?
So I had two new student leaders, and this year we're doing 2 student leaders to a group, which is really nice. I feel like as one of the leaders who doesn't have a background in education, it's nice to have just 2 extra people to be like, okay, can you go and handle this 10-year-old who's just acting squirrely? And so I had 2, and one of them is one of the kids who has gotten kicked out a few times.
Sure.
And he's working with me in the green team at North Division, and he's been coming every single time. And so, like I really wanted, I mean, he's 18, he's maybe 17 or 18.
Sure.
He's older, and I'm like, he needs to like, he needs to either have responsibility or not come, and so I'm like, let's try this kid out. And so he did a great job. I told him, a few times, redirected him a few times, but overall he did a great job. He was working actually, his brother had been in my group for a long time. And so, his brother kind of knew what was going on and stuff like that. And so they worked really well together. And yeah, I was just really, really happy, with him working. I had kind of given him the option. When I saw him at Green Team, I said, I really want you to be my student leader. And he's like, oh, I want to do mowing. And I was like, you can do the mowing group, but you wouldn't be a student leader. And he was like, okay, I want to be in your group. And so he said, I was like, at the end of today, I said, I'd love to have you guys both back next week, as student leaders. And they were both like, yeah, I'd really like to come. So I feel like that was my first highlight, was just like, he did a really good job. And yeah, and it was funny too. One of the funny things was, one of the girls, I feel like, at the end, we kind of have the circle time and we're talking about like work versus play. And so one of the girls is like, well, what happens if like somebody like came up to me and just started punching me and, I was doing nothing. And I was like, you probably still have to go, and like, you'd have to go back, to the garden and have a talk with Alex. And I was like, Tommy, because Tommy was one of my student leaders, who he's gotten kicked out before. I was like, Tommy, what does it feel like to have a talk with Alex? And he's like, it's the worst.
It is.
So it was really fun, because I'm like, yeah, my kids also say that having a talk with Alex is the worst.
Well, I mean, I just tell it like it is. Yeah. I mean, if you're doing something you shouldn't do, I'm not going to listen to your bullshit.
And you like prolong the talk. Like, you make it as just as painful as possible for the kids. Okay, one other highlight. It was really neat. I had some younger kids, and it was funny because they were taller, and so I was kind of like, oh, these kids they're just, they're not working, they're not on task all the time. And then I realized, oh, they're younger.
Sure.
And then I actually realized that like they've been in the younger program, a long time, like probably at least 2 years.
Couple of years, yeah.
And so that was really fun to be like, oh, like they've really came up with, with We Got This. And that was just neat to be like, and we know a lot of their family members and stuff like that. And so it was fun to like kind of like figure out that connection. They've been part of the gift giveaway every year. And so like, I know their names really well, but sure. Since they've been like littler kids, and now they're finally older, they can be a part of the bigger group. So it was fun to be able to hang out with them.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a similar experience. I don't have a group. I'm kind of there at the main garden with kind of interacting with all of the groups for a short period of time. Mm-hmm. And we had a kid who at the end of last year, he just wasn't really doing what he was supposed to be doing. And we had a talk, and and he was never able to take responsibility for his actions. And that would be one of the main things I'd be looking for, right? Like, do you have any kind of remorse or regret? Yeah. And can you articulate that at least a little bit? And he couldn't, which was fine. Wasn't mad at him about it, but can't come back. Yeah. And didn't come back, but then came the first time, came back today.
Okay.
And I saw him in the line, and, I mentioned how glad I was for him to be back. Yeah. And, it doesn't matter what happened before. This is different now. Mm-hmm. And he was actually singled out as one of the kids that earned a little bit extra. Nice. Because, we'll have every group has got $20 extra they can give out. It's kind of like a bonus. Mm-hmm. You do really well, you get a bonus.
Which I have to say was great, because there was a point that I was like, oh, these kids don't want to work anymore. And then I said that then.
Sure.
And everyone started working hard again.
Yeah. Well, so he was identified as one of the kids to get a bonus. Nice. And so he got the bonus. And there was another opportunity just to remind him, this may happen to you again, where something doesn't go well. And if it doesn't go well, it doesn't mean that everything will never, nothing will ever go well again. It just means, reset yourself and then come back. And there's a pretty good opportunity that it will go well, because you are more inclined to want to make it go well. And so you put in the effort, you make it go well. we had very, very little in terms of that kind of thing though today. In fact, I was a little surprised. Usually the first time of the first garden of the year, you get, it's again, very similar to the first day of school where kids will want to test and kind of see what they can get away with. And so we didn't have a whole lot of that, which, it's fine. Maybe it'll happen next week, which should be okay. But Meg, I wanted to, do you have anything else you want to add? And then I wanted to talk about a couple other things.
No.
All right. So, one of the things that, so we do this garden program and, on its face, or if you took it at face value, the garden program, it provides kids an opportunity to work, gets them out of the house on Saturday morning, especially in the summertime. It's kind of nice. It's something that kind of anchors their week, and
they get to make extra money.
They get to make a little bit extra money.
They get free produce to bring home.
Sure. Yeah. They can have
Don't poo-poo
vegetables.
the...
I'm not poo-pooing the produce. The produce is fine.
It's great.
But so it's great. Where I was going with that is that, while it does those things, many times when you're working with a young person, you need them to be doing something so that you can sprinkle in these life lessons, like the kid I was just referring to and the one that you were talking about. You need those activities to get a kid, trying something new, or, for example, work is hard to come by in the neighborhood, I would say. So it's probably harder to come by than it is in other places.
There's just so many people.
There's a lot of people in a small space. Even I know, growing up, I had a bunch of friends that worked at Burger King. They were terrible Burger King employees.
I'm sure.
And just gave away all of the food to everybody, dropping things they shouldn't drop in the fryers.
My first job was working at the cafe down the street.
Right, and so you had a cafe down the street.
We don't have a cafe down the street.
Right, and the cafe down the street wasn't likely to hire a 30-year-old who just needed any job.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
here there are 30-year-olds that just need any job. And so those jobs typically would go to the McDonald's jobs or the Burger King or the Wendy's or whatever. Those jobs don't always go to the 15-year-old where they would, in where you and I are from, they go to an adult.
Yeah.
And so it's a little bit harder for a 15-year-old to get it. It's certainly not impossible. However, our 15-year-old has a job, and I know that it was fairly labor intensive for her to get the job. Talking about being a lifeguard.
Yeah,
to learn how to do these lifeguarding skills. You had to know that she could be a lifeguard. She didn't find the lifeguard certification test date.
Sure.
You found it.
Sure. Yes.
You brought her, or I brought her to 4 or 5 classes she had to take.
Practice beforehand.
You took her to pools to practice.
Yeah.
So it's.
She was very motivated.
Sure.
Which I wouldn't have taken her if she wouldn't have been motivated. She even pointed out here's the dates we can go. So I feel like it wasn't just all me.
No, it wasn't all you.
I was taking her.
But if you took yourself out of the equation,
she would not have the job.
It would not have happened.
Yeah.
Correct. So. Again, it's not, and that's one of the things that, you get these two different viewpoints on maybe on our neighborhood. You get one side that will say maybe that the individuals living here are a certain type of way in a negative,
lazy.
Sure.
I feel like 20 years ago, I would have said why don't people have jobs? They're just lazy.
And then you get the other side that says that, it's because of this and this, longstanding history of racism, living in an area of concentrated poverty, it's harder to do. And I agree. I'm not saying that those things don't exist.
Education system,
all of those
all
things.
The things.
So it can be. It could be one. It could be the other. It could be a combination of those. But then I would say that just in general, the opportunities are less. There's less opportunities. Yeah. And because of that, then it's harder for kids. When I hear of a 16-year-old that has a job, and Summerfest is a job, that kind of stuff. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's however many days a year.
Yeah,
I don't even know,
I think
10, something like that, 8 maybe. It's a small number of days in a year. I probably should know that.
I know. I'm it used to be 10, and now it's weekends. I don't know.
I don't know. Whatever. I haven't been there in a while, but. the point I'm trying to make is that it is significantly harder for a 15-year-old to get a job, I believe, than it either just now it is, as opposed to I was 15 in 1998. So there you go. A lot has changed. So it's just harder now, or it's harder here, or I'm not here to debate or make a declaration on which is which, but I believe that it is more challenging, and if you can provide these small snippets of work opportunities, no one is walking around saying that their only employment for the summer should be we got this.
Yeah.
But if you've got a 12-year-old and the 12-year-old knows, okay, I can come here and I can work, at least they've got some context to what it means to work and how you do work. And so today when we talked about work versus play, I know from my educational experience that you can't assume a kid knows the thing that you are really expecting them to know how to do. And so, a lot of kids, they know how to do schoolwork, but schoolwork is different than work. You can be terrible at schoolwork and be an excellent employee, or vice versa, or you can be good at both or bad at both. The whole range exists. And so, giving a kid the opportunity to come and learn, well, this is what it is like to work. Even the kids that, because sometimes we'll get a kid, they're moving mulch and they're going to carry like 4 buckets at a time. Well, no one told you that you have to carry 4 buckets at a time. So you carry 4 buckets at a time, and then in 20 minutes, you're ready to pass out.
Yeah.
And then you don't want to do anything. Well, okay, that's not really how jobs work. There's a certain expectation that's set by your manager or your boss or the client that you're working for. And you have to, navigate that while you're there, and they kind of expect you to be doing something most of the time. And so giving a kid an opportunity to do that, I think, is a great set of life lessons, because then when they do go get their job, their first job, whether it is 15, 16, 17, they have at least that little bit of background knowledge to say, okay, this is how I would do this. Also, when they get paid, every kid's smiling when they get paid.
Yeah.
Not every kid is smiling when I see them.
Yeah.
If I drive the tractor over to a garden and the kids are working, not everyone is smiling.
Well, and it was really great because the circle questions were, play versus work. And, I went around at the end and just said, what did you, or maybe I started with, give me something you liked about today. And one of the student leaders, he's like, I was hot the whole day. I don't know that I liked anything. And it was great to circle back to that at the end and say, hey, but you kept being here.
Sure.
Yeah. And there was many times that, there's one kid in specific where they did not want to work anymore. And I was like, you can leave, but you're not going to get paid.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, I want to keep working. And so, we talked about just the muscle of work and how it's hard. And even, I was like, student leader, thank you for saying that you're hot and you were uncomfortable the whole time, because that's part of work. Sometimes work isn't fun. And so I feel like we actually had a really good conversation about that, because he said, I was hot. I didn't like anything.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. All that stuff is good. I mean, the kids from our neighborhood have lived through a lot of adversity in their lives.
Yeah.
I would say overall, many of them have experienced more adversity even than I have as a 42-year-old.
Yeah.
However, most of that adversity was not chosen by them.
Yeah.
And not all adversity is bad. In fact, sometimes the best things or the most growth comes out of adversity. And when you choose the adversity, I think that you have at least the opportunity to either learn something either about yourself or about the world, or you have an opportunity to grow as an individual. Yeah. And so I always appreciate when, given the kids are $20 or whatever it ends up being, that, you do see them make the connection of adversity can yield a reward. Yeah. And the reward is the payment that they get. And because they get that, then, it was kind of worth it, because I guarantee, unless the kid that was hot is now having a heat stroke, which I don't think they are. Yeah. They're probably fine. Yeah. They're probably eating ice cream or something. that, that reward that you got sticks with you longer than the adversity sticks with you.
Yeah.
And especially if you are decent at managing your money, then you have that reward for an extended period of time. And I can't think of, I started going down this road, Meg, because I think embedded in this gardening program are a whole slew of other life lessons and things that, if you were to set up a program where you're going to teach that, I don't know how you would do that.
No one would want to come.
No, nobody would sign up. First off, because I don't even know what you would call it and how you would describe it.
Play.
No, nobody cares
lessons
about that.
to learn.
Life lessons. Life lessons with Alex.
Learning lessons.
Learning lessons. But so you don't get that learning lesson unless you are involved in something, and your involvement in this thing has the net result of teaching you that these things matter and they're important. And you even we had some kids kind of stay after and do a little bit more grass cutting, cutting the grass, and it's just you could tell they were tired.
Yeah.
But that group in particular has been wired in their, whether through it's their own experience, whether it was through We Got This or somewhere else, that even though I might be a little bit tired, I have an opportunity, and when I have opportunities, I should more often than not say yes.
Yeah.
Because these opportunities lead to other opportunities and more opportunities and more opportunities. And someday it'll be foolish for them to come and want to stay an extra hour and a half and cut the grass, because there'll be the opportunity cost of working like a regular job is much higher. Yeah. But at this point, it's an opportunity. It's here. We have the lawnmowers. We have these 3 gardens we need to cut. And you're here. And if you want it, you can have it.
Yeah.
And more often than not, kids sign up for that because they want it. They want the opportunity.
We actually had too many kids.
We had too many. It was
not enough lawnmowers.
No. Which was fine. It all worked out.
Yeah.
It all worked out just fine. But Meg, it's getting close. We should probably wrap up here in a minute. Do you have anything you would like to plug?
I did not think that far ahead. Do you? It seems like
I don't. But I would say that this podcast is going to come out in the next couple of days. We are getting nearer to the time where plants should be put into the ground. And one of the partnerships that We Got This has is with Weber's. And Weber's has offered We Got This, Friends of We Got This, the We and We Got This. It has offered the opportunity to just purchase like $20 worth of plants. And so last Friday or yesterday, you went and you picked up a couple $100 worth of plants.
Yeah. Yep. Then we put them all in the ground today.
And those plants all went into the ground. Yeah. And so we've got a couple thousand square feet of growing space that still will get planted. We're pretty close to having what we need for money in terms of plants, but we could always use a little bit more. Not always, but we can, in this instance, use a little bit more. And so if you're interested in donating specifically for plants, the easiest way to do that, well, you could bring plants. That's fine. We had 3 or 4 people drop off plants today.
That was great.
You just show up on a Saturday with the plants in your car.
And I do have to say, we had some guy that he showed up with 25 raspberry plants, and then he came and helped us plant them. It was so cool. He came all the way from Madison.
Anyone is always welcome to do that. You should just come around 8:30, 9 o'clock. That's like the time. Or before 12 o'clock. Like if you came at like 3, or you and I are probably both asleep.
If you came at 11 a.m., we're like not in the midst.
We're kind of wrapping up. But if you want more information about the Weber's plants, you can go to www.wegotThisMKE.com. You don't have to say the www anymore?
You don't, no.
You don't even have to put it in.
No, it reverts. Both of them revert to the same one, whether it's www or not. Most websites they just do that from now on. So if you put it in, it people can choose if they want the www or the not or not.
Or if you're like the guy that had the raspberries and you have extra plants that you'd like to bring by, I would say email is probably the best way. Email contact at wegotThisMKE.com,
yes.
And then we'll coordinate that with you.
Yeah, that's great. That was a great plug. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I got your back.
Thanks.
All right. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye.